And good afternoon. It's the Pit Stop coming to you for the Look Back show, which means we look back at Las Vegas over the weekend. What happened there in the first race of the round of 8 for both the Xfinity and the Cup Series there at Las Vegas. And folks, I told you in the Look Ahead show last week, on Thursdays is when that comes out. I told you straight up, this is a fun racetrack. It's one of my favorite racetracks out there. And boy, did it live up to that hype. It was just an exciting race weekend. I didn't even get to be able to catch them live. I was watching them later, had to stay off of Twitter, and it was a blast watching those races. I think it would have been fun even if I knew what had happened across the board there. Of course, we'll talk Xfinity and Cup Series. Now, this is a look-back show, right? We have our look-ahead show that comes out on Thursday where we look ahead. Talladega this week, where we'll see all 3 national series, the Truck Series, who was off here for Las Vegas weekend. They do come back here and get us started at Talladega this Friday night as well. So while the Truck Series was off, I'm looking forward to Talladega this weekend. We'll talk about that on the Look Ahead show later in the week. The Xfinity Series and the Cup Series both happening there at Las Vegas. Both were round of race 1 of 3 here in the round of 8. Win, punch your ticket to the Championship 4 out there is what you need to do. And, that's what everybody's trying to do going into this weekend here in Las Vegas. It was a race-long battle out there among the front-running trio, right? There's 3 of them out there at one point. Eric Almirola, who ends up getting the win. Of course, Connor Zilisch, which you expect to be in the front as well. And Jesse Love sneaking up here and being part of that deal. Justin Allgaier at points was here. And I told you Justin Allgaier was going to win that race. I picked him to win the race last week because of the way he runs. He doesn't always finish in Las Vegas, but he's always there at the end. Well, Jesse Love kind of stepped up there and filled in that spot as well. But look, the 41-year-old Eric Almirola has got experience on this racetrack. He's got experience in the Xfinity Series, and he ends up with the trophy there in Saturday's race there at Las Vegas Speedway. Now, he's not in the driver championship contention or playoffs, but he's in the owner championship playoffs. So Almirola did lead the race best there, 107 of the 201 laps there in the Xfinity Series. He took the lead for good from Connor Zilisch there. With about 9 laps remaining, he held off Connor Zilisch by 0.696 seconds. And this was one of the most competitive races of the Xfinity season here. So now he's not racing. Eric Almirola, by the way, is only racing part-time this season. We've seen him win a couple times here. He won right in the playoffs earlier this season as well. But nothing in terms of his driving or in terms of playoff running. But the number 19 Joe Gibbs Racing Toyota there in the Xfinity Series, you get the first automatic berth for the Owners' Championship, which we don't talk a lot about here. But that's how teams get more money. It's actually more lucrative on the owner's side than it is on the Drivers' Championship as well. So they do advance on the owner's side of thing. It was the 3rd win of the season and 10th of Almirola's career. And, of course, he made a very dramatic race-winning move if you saw it there. He went low on Connor Zilisch. And he had to put in, an outrun. He had to outmaneuver Connor Zilisch for the last several races out there. Well, you don't need me explaining it to you. Let's watch Eric Almirola pass Connor Zilisch here for the lead, Xfinity 1.
It's going to beat his inside off turn 2. Here comes Almirola charging to the inside. Can he complete the pass? He goes up. Contact. 88 out of line, and it's Almirola who takes over the race lead.
I just love the Xfinity race there at nighttime in Las Vegas as well. I think it brings a little bit of a dynamic, whether it be in the spring, of course, or now here in the playoffs. But Almirola gets that victory. Now, you got the 1 spot in the Owners' Championship filled, but the Final 4 championship race, well, that's still open to 4 drivers. Basically, only 2 drivers have a chance to win and guarantee their way moving on. So at least 1 driver will have to obviously point their way in at this point here in this round. So we know how close the points were when we look back at the points last week in our look ahead show as well. So two it's interesting when you get to the point side of thing. Let me phrase it a little bit differently here than that, because you can only have 2 more winners coming up, and it's going to be fun to see where they land, of course, in this race. Now, Connor Zilic finished second in this race. He's a favorite, obviously. You know, it's his race championship to lose here in the Xfinity Series. Well, let's check in with Connor Zilic after the race.
Yeah, I mean, the frustration just comes from how much this stuff means a lot to me. And a chance to walk into Phoenix, you got to take it. So, yeah, I mean, I gave it my all. I drove as hard as I could, but, yeah, I guess it's all we had today. So, yeah, I mean, I just got to do a better job. I just could not wrap the line. I sucked here in the spring for the same reason. And
I mean, look, you got to love the honesty there of Connor Zilic. And obviously disappointed. Look, he's moving on to the championship 4 unless a disaster strikes. And I can't even tell you what kind of disaster would have to happen for him not to advance to the Final 4 coming up, right? But you can see the disappointment in his voice there, battling it out and not getting that win as we went into this race. So the official finishing lap here in terms of playoff drivers is what we're talking about right now. Eric Almirola, obviously, playoff points, owner points there. Playoffs, he led that 107 laps. Connor Zilic finished second there, 34 laps led by him. Justin Allgaier, his teammate, and also a guy that can steal this championship from Connor Zilic there, finished third, 28 laps led here in his Chevrolet in the number 7 car as well. Jesse Love finished 6th. Interesting enough, Nick Sanchez finished 5th in this race. We'll come back to that in just a minute here. Late in this race, some frustrations creeped in by Jesse Love. There was conversation on pit road. We'll talk about that coming up. But 5th, and of course, Nick Sanchez was in the playoffs, got eliminated in an earlier round, and Jesse Love still in the playoffs and trying to advance to that championship 4. Sam Mayer, number 9. Then you got Austin Hill there at number 10. Sheldon Creed finished 11th. Brandon Jones, 13th. Carson Kvapel, the other rookie there besides Connor Zilic, in 15th place here in this race. And then the other playoff driver, Sammy Smith, out there. Yes, he finished 20th there at Las Vegas. Why is all of this important? Well, you need as many points as possible here, especially now that a non-playoff driver has won race number 1. And Jesse Love, he led 3 times in this race. As I told you, 22 laps is what he got to. He ended up finishing 6th, as I just said. He races for RCR, Richard Childress Racing. Well, he got caught up racing hard with Nick Sanchez there in the closing laps. And Jesse Love was running with the top 3 most of the day. He was in this conversation to win it. He was frustrated. And as I told you, him and Nick Sanchez had words on pit road following the checkered flag and the battle that they had. Well, just a heads up here, it's the F word, but it comes quickly toward the end. It's kind of hard to hear. It's not blatant. But if you are sensitive to that, just heads up. It's coming here. Here is Xfinity 3.
What does 19 have to do with me? We're racing for the win. Did you not see me almost wreck down there with him? We're racing up front for the win. You're side drafting me. Everyone's side drafting me. We're racing for the win. That's racing. That's why you crash. We're racing for the Touch him again. Touch him again.
I don't know who the guy is at the end going, touch him again. Touch him again. Who was that guy? Jesse Love was in the red there, by the way, playing for his playoff, fighting for a playoff life to advance. Nick Sanchez being eliminated, also obviously trying to win the race out there. Jesse Love not too happy with him. So afterwards, here's the quote from Jesse Love. I had words with him, and obviously I'm extremely pissed off. It was my fault. I was in the spot racing him. I don't run into people. I don't put people in bad spots for no reason, and that's why I'm upset about it. Now, if you go to Nick Sanchez's side of things, he said he was just racing hard, and basically, even though he's no longer playoff eligible, he still intends to race hard for wins in the final races of the season, is what Nick Sanchez said after that race. And I get Jesse Love's frustration. Nick Sanchez didn't necessarily do anything wrong, in my opinion, but I get Jesse Love's frustration, right? He's trying to advance in the playoffs. He's trying to get up there in a win. He was a top 3 car for a lot of the day, and he wasn't there at the end, was in that 6th spot with Nick Sanchez. And Nick Sanchez has sponsors and everything. He needs to win also to keep them happy. So I get the battle there as well. And, of course, the talk after the race there on the sideline is always an interesting thing when it happens there as well. So let's throw up the playoff standings after Las Vegas here in the Xfinity Series. I just enjoyed this competitive race out there. And, look, we know it all along. Connor Zilic, Justin Allgaier are moving on to the next round, whether they win or not. I expect at least Connor to get a win here in this round. 82 points lead here for Connor Zilic there in the 82 point from the cut line coming up. So those two are safe to go. I told you guys all along, I believe Sam Mayer was going to move on as well. Well, +8 to the cut line. I'm a little worried about my pick there in Sam Mayer. Now, I always told you, since this round came out, I said I don't know who the fourth driver is going to be. Obviously, Carson Kvappel, Sammy Smith didn't do themselves any favors in this race. Neither did Sheldon Creed. Can you make up those points? Yes. Can you win in the next two? Yes. Don't forget, it's Talladega coming up, then Martinsville. Anybody can win those races, but I don't, unless they win a race, 6, 7, and 8 there. Sheldon Creed, Carson Kvappel, and Sammy Smith, unfortunately, are going to have their playoffs end here. Jesse Love, I do believe, is going to do well in these next couple races. I think he's going to be our guy to move on. The question mark I have, to be honest with you, is Sam Mayer. Can he hold off Brandon Jones or a new winner and keep that fourth spot here coming up? I have wavered. I was so confident Sam Mayer was going to make it. I am not as confident here coming up here with Talladega and Martinsville coming up next. I just am not as confident as I once was. So, yes, the points have spread out a little bit more, between these guys. I think we got basically 2, maybe 3 guys battling it out for those last 2 spots. To be honest with you, I think we only have 1 driver battling it out, or 2 drivers battling it out for that final 4 spot. The only wrinkle here will be a new driver winning. And again, Talladega, anything can happen coming up. So it's something to pay attention to out there. And then, so that was the Las Vegas race. I enjoyed the whole weekend of racing out there. Weather looked fantastic. Disappointed now I didn't make it. I love going to the Las Vegas Speedway and watching the races up there north of Las Vegas there. But one of the news things that came out in the Xfinity Series as well, going into the weekend's racing, is NASCAR said they warned 2 Xfinity teams about discussing point situation on their radios with their drivers there as well. Now, they're talking specifically about the Charlotte Roval, and that was the cutoff race last weekend. This all comes from the series directors and officials talking about this on NASCAR Hauler Talk, of course, the podcast that they do for NASCAR's side of it as well. NASCAR did not say who their 2 teams were in the Xfinity sides that they warned there as well, but they did state they were among the teams that had already clinched a spot in the next round. Right? It comes to that race manipulation. We saw it and we talked about it on the Look Back show last week when we were looking back at the Charlotte Roval, specifically on the Cup side of things. If Denny Hamlin would have known that he could have knocked Joey Logano out, he wouldn't have passed Ross Chastain, he wouldn't have passed Ross Chastain and put him in that spot. So Ross would move on, right? So 2 teams had clinched it, and they were talking about who to eliminate, who not to, in terms of the point side. Here's the exact quote here coming up from the Hauler Talk podcast. Quote, they were just given a warning that if the points didn't have to do with them, their specific car and vehicle, then we don't want to see them talking about points. Of course, that comes from NASCAR's Senior Director of Racing Communications, Amanda Ellis, out there. So, which makes sense. If you've already clinched a spot to move on, now you can tell your driver, hey, you need to pass 2 guys in order to guarantee a spot in the next round. That's allowed. What you can't do is if you're clinched and you can't say, hey, the 22 car, who's 2 cars behind you, needs to pass 3 cars to get in front of you. It doesn't have anything to do with you. They don't want you manipulating the race in terms of that stuff out there. So they have been warned. Be interesting to see how we go on. That's going to come more and more into play here, especially in the next couple races. Moving on with the point situation, what it is out there. So Xfinity comes up, and we'll talk about this at the Look Ahead show here later on Thursday this week. Talladega this weekend on Saturday. That'll be race 2 of 3 in the round of 8 for the Xfinity Series. And I had so much fun with the Xfinity race. I wasn't able to watch it. I was at a high school football game and watching the ASU game. I wasn't able to watch it live, but tuned in and watched it early Sunday morning. And it was so much fun. And then, who would have thought? Well, I kind of did, but the Cup series there at Las Vegas brings us even more stuff out there. One emotional win for Denny Hamlin with the health of his father and what he's going through out there. Then you had just some drama galore and some big movement here on the playoff odds on the Cup side. We get into it all when we come back here at the pit stop. Excuse me. And we're back here at the pit stop. And folks, as you can see, whether you're listening to us on the free podcast, which is at Podbean there, only at Podbean right now, just search at the pit stop talk. It'll come right up for you. Or, of course, follow us on the social medias on X at the pit stop talk as well. You'll see the link there to the free podcast system. Of course, those of you that catch us on demand on Robat TV with your subscription, we appreciate it very much. One subscription, you get all the shows around Robat TV, which includes the main event, includes the McCollum on Business, the pit stop, the Real Matrix, as you just saw the show. The Angry Patriot gets you all set up there on what he thinks the government does for you and what they're doing to the world out there. If that's your type of programming, it's there at Robat TV on demand right now. And then, of course, we started just with my production side of things with me, Kobe, and Riley, and Ethan. Well, we got our production side, a YouTube channel out there as well. If you just shop and search for the main event, the pit stop, McCollum on Business, all on one YouTube page there for you. And for on-demand purposes, free as well for you out there. So check that out as well. That's where you will find this program along with the other ones, including the Real Matrix coming up. Gets through some copyright stuff, and it'll be there on YouTube as well. Hopefully later on today or tomorrow. So check that out, would you? We'd appreciate it. Like and subscribe and get us out there in the zeitgeist. And, of course, most of our numbers are on the live side and on the on-demand side of Robat TV. And we can't thank you guys enough for supporting us there at Robat TV as well. And we love all of you that do support us, however you do so. And with all that being said, right, we just got done talking Xfinity in Las Vegas, and now let's move and turn our attention to the Cup Series there at Las Vegas as well, where, of course, Denny Hamlin, that was a very emotional win for him. And, 60 wins, a very dramatic win with how he won it, with all the battling that happened out there at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Right, Denny Hamlin had to pass 2 cars in the final 10 laps. He took the lead from his teammate out there, right? Chase Briscoe, who's battling for a playoff championship 4 spot as well. He passed Chase Briscoe, with about 4 laps remaining. Then he held off Kyle Larson there. Ended up winning by 1.533 seconds. Denny Hamlin did. And 6th win of the season for Denny Hamlin, but most importantly, 60th win of his career overall. He is in some rarefied air now in terms of how many wins he has total. The win secures, obviously, the first of 4 positions there in the November 2nd championship race at Phoenix Raceway, coming up here in just a few weeks. So, Denny Hamlin, first title shot since 2021 at that point. Well, earlier, I told you he had to pass Chase Briscoe in the 19 car with about 4 laps to go. Well, let's show you that. Hamlin taking the lead. Cup 1.
Race each other. What's the level of respect? Here comes Hamlin again. Goes up on the high side. Remember, it's a 2-tire stop versus a 4-tire stop. Denny's better equipped with 4 new tires and takes the lead.
Strategy came involved. Into this race. You heard them say that. Denny Hamlin had pitted, got 4 tires. Chase Briscoe went and got 2 tires. Several drivers, Joey Logano got 2. Several drivers got 2 only, and they got hurt in this end of this race with only the 2 tires instead of the 4 tires out there. So you saw him get the lead there, and what he had to do with Chase Briscoe. Well, now let's check out the white flag lap for Hamlin at Cup 2.
1 lap to go, presented by Credit One Bank. 1 lap to go to determine Denny Hamlin going to the championship 4.
I mean, you see a sizable lead right there.
Coming back from those early race challenges, the 44-year-old veteran who is still searching for that elusive championship. Well, he's going to get win number 60. He's won in Vegas before, but maybe this is the most important win. Denny Hamlin is going to Phoenix.
So he guarantees his spot in that championship 4. And then, if you don't know, Denny Hamlin's father is having some health issues there and everything. Very emotional win. If you saw the in-car after he had won that race, tears in his eyes when he's sitting in there with his helmet on and all of that. Well, Denny Hamlin eventually does his burnout, right? Comes out, gets out of the car, and he usually talks a lot of smack to the fans. Well, this time, Hamlin after the race, some retrospective here as well. Here's Denny, Cup 3.
Definitely means a lot. I usually, it's the point where I kind of give the fans some shit, but not today. I appreciate all of you so much.
It's okay.
Yeah, just obviously want to say hi to my dad, family, back at home, all the friends that came out here for Vegas, hoping we get 60, but I didn't think we were. Yeah, just put the pedal down those last 10 laps and made it happen.
How did you make it happen, Denny? Because it looked like it might not happen.
Chris did an amazing job on that final stop, getting the car just right, and I just held it down. That's all I could do is just go for it. I felt like I had nothing to lose. Just go for it and try to punch the ticket now, and man, this one feels great.
We talked about the dedication you've shown because you feel like your championship window is right now. 7 hours of sim this week, all the effort that went into it. But did you think this has been such a hit or miss racetrack for you guys that it can happen today?
I mean, if you would ask me yesterday, I would have said no. But just super proud of this team for making the adjustments they did. Pit crew for doing a great job all day, and AM PM. This is only my 2nd race with these guys. When we get new sponsors, we typically win with them. So appreciate them, Toyota, Jordan Brand, Shady Rays, Coca-Cola, all of our partners, Sport Clips, Progressive, and I don't know. I just don't know what to say. It was very unexpected. With those last 15 laps, I didn't think we were going to win, but I knew I was going to give it all I had.
I mean, long thing there, but you saw his emotions. Obviously, 60 is a big deal. Not a lot of guys get to that number. And then on top of that, his father's health, dealing with it. So Denny Hamlin, normally don't see him in that light there. So I left that a little bit longer than I normally would for him out there. And gosh, Denny, you're going to be likable if you keep up that instead of talking so much smack out there. Obviously, Denny Hamlin wins that race. Only led 9 of those laps, right, to get the win at the end, beating his teammate. Now, the interesting thing here, his teammate didn't get second. He continued to go backward, but Kyle Larson who was the dominant driver, right? The class of the field out there in Las Vegas for most of the day. Led 129 of the laps, finished second in terms of playoff drivers. Christopher Bell loves that third place spot, gets it several times here in the playoffs. Christopher Bell in third, Chase Briscoe finished fourth in terms of playoff drivers. Now, Tyler Reddick was the only non-playoff driver there in the top five. But then you got Joey Logano finishing in sixth place for him in this race. Now, the Joey Logano, 24 points back, going into this race. Most points difference, most points from the cut line of any Cup driver coming into this round. But Joey Logano there does get stage one position was 10. Stage two position was 9. So he did pick up 34 points. We'll look later on what that does, if anything, for him moving forward. Now, in terms of other playoff drivers, Chase Elliott, not a good day, which is shocking for Chase Elliott. Had an issue. We'll talk about that coming up here. But he normally is fast and runs well at Las Vegas. And at the point where he needs points, he finished 18th in this race in terms of playoff guys. And then you got the two guys we'll also talk about here coming up. William Byron finished 36th here. And then Ryan Blaney finished 38th. William Byron and Ryan Blaney started this race on the positive side of the cut line. Where did they finish afterwards? Well, you can imagine with the 36th and 38th point finish. Well, you didn't finish very well. And are you still above the cut line? Cut line is what you have to worry about from that point. William Byron was having a great day till the last 4 laps. And we'll talk about that here in just a minute. But 55 laps led for William Byron. And then, of course, Ryan Blaney out of this race in lap 70 above the cut line coming into this race here. So your playoff hopes can change in a second, especially with Talladega and especially with Martinsville coming up here for race 2 and 3 here in this round. Nobody is safe here for the most part unless you win, which Denny Hamlin is safe to move forward here this weekend, or moving forward here into the championship 4 in 3 weeks here in Phoenix. So, as I said, Larson finished second. He was the best driver out there most of the day. 129 of the 267 laps he led, but he was not able to get past Denny Hamlin and stay in front of him. And, of course, Denny Hamlin came in, as the pole sitter, right, in terms of practice into that checkered flag. You saw the distance there as well. So, let's check in with Kyle Larson after the race, specifically about Denny Hamlin, how well he was running out there. Cup 4.
Yeah, he must have nailed the bottom behind me, got to my inside, and it was kind of, over from there. But, yeah, he did an awesome job. He got up on the wheel there. I mean, I felt like I was up on the wheel, and he did a really good job. I tried to take his line away in 3 and 4, and he got to my outside. So rarely do you see Denny do that, and he did a great job. So hats off to them. Hats off to my team, too. We had an awesome day as well.
I mean, look, he finished his second, and he's just praising the driver that won on what he did out there, how he passed him on the racetrack. Got to love that side of things as well there, but Kyle Larson. And I picked Kyle Larson to win this race. And he did exactly what I thought he would do, except he did not finish it. Kind of like I was hoping he would out there as well. So Kyle Larson with the second spot. So before I show you the points on the playoffs here, right, let's talk a little bit about the other playoff drivers. I already told you, William Byron, yikes, finished 36th in this race. How did he do so? I'm going to show you the whole broadcast here for the USA Network on the, I think it was on NBC, actually. I forget. But I'm going to show you the entire broadcast here, the multiple angles, because quite frankly, it comes out later. William Byron had no idea Ty Dillon was going to pit here, and Ty Dillon stays high before he pits, and it ruins William Byron's day. 155 laps led, was there at the end, was going to continue on above the cut line, was going to be above the cut line. Well, until this happens. Cup 5.
Oh, wow. Oh, my
There's
goodness.
the in-car of it. That's William Byron's in-car.
Idea that he was pitting at all. Many times the spotters will signal, wave their arms, I'm pitting, and clearly no communication from up there. William Byron just had no indication he was going to pit.
Look at John Hunter Nemechek sideways down pit road. Oh, that's ugly. That
Trying to figure out where that 10 is in reference, Jeff. Is he higher than others that have come to pit road?
There are many drivers that have come to pit road not on the white line. I think you should be on the white line. I know it's a little quicker if you're using more of the racetrack, but maybe, we don't know what was going on with Ty Dillon. Maybe he was having a problem with his car, had to come to pit road quickly. We just don't know, but what an impact.
I mean, you're just cruising along with another driver thinking he's going to keep going, and then he stops in front of you, right? Yeah, I mean, Dillon was too high on the racetrack to go down in there. There was no indication he was going down, at least on the track, from William Byron's perspective, going into that point. But it ruins a playoff driver's day and cost him in that 36th position and, below the cut line now moving forward after being on top of it. Now, William Byron, after he gets out of the care center, talks about this as well. Keep in mind, that was 4 laps left in the race, folks. Billy Ryan, after this race, heads up. A couple swear words in this one, nothing egregious. It's just obviously he's trying to figure out what happened, trying to figure out how it went, and it ruined a very good day for him and cost him here in the playoff standings. Here's William Byron, Cup 6.
For random shit to happen like that, it just sucks. So,
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought he said something else. That's why I'm like, it says he's swearing. I even wrote in the notes, swears, and he just says the word sucks. Yeah, I mean, look at the disappointment. That's got to be unbelievable disappointment. Just racing behind, just driving behind the guy, just minding your own business, and then boom, guy checks up in front of you. That late in the race on top of it. So William Byron, terrible end to his day. Then you got Chase Elliott early in this race. Now, Chase Elliott did make a run and kind of got back into it, got back on the lead lap, but middle of the pack finish for him. Why? Well, he has an uncontrolled tire issue. Let's look at Chase Elliott earlier in this race, Cup 7.
he stops in his box, a little long still. That's happened twice. You see the tire rolling to the front. Well, it turns and keeps rolling, well into the next pit box, and then it takes another crew member to stop it.
You have to have control of the tire. It cannot leave your box. Safety reasons, obviously, and they just let it slow roll out of there. Now, I've had a lot of people ask me over the years, I've spent a lot of time in pit boxes in that area covering NASCAR. You're not allowed to hop, if you're not an over-the-wall crew guy, you're not allowed to hop over the wall and grab it. Now, as it got close to the wall, you could have grabbed it and pulled it up, but it left the pit box, and that's where you get the penalty if it leaves the pit box at that point. Because you'll see guys take the tire off, especially on the right side of the car, and they'll just throw them up there, right? They'll put them on the side and just wheel them and push them up there. As long as you have somebody to grab it, it doesn't bounce off the wall and then go out of the box, you're good to do that type of stuff there. But that's what cost Chase Elliott here on this day. Put him well behind everybody because you have to do a pass-through penalty, which everybody's on green. You got to come through, pit again, and then pull out. It just could never get back into this race for Chase Elliott. So another playoff driver struggling as well, as we told you his standings. And then you got Ryan Blaney. Came into this above the cut line here as well. Has an issue, lap 70 on this race. This is where your playoffs can turn in an instant. William Byron, it turned in an instant and 4 laps to go. But Ryan Blaney, it turned on an instant in lap 70 of 67 laps there as well. Well, here's Cup 8. Here's Ryan Blaney's wreck.
This is a nightmare situation for Ryan Blaney. With just 9 laps to go to the end of stage 1, he ended up in the wall.
Listen to his car.
You can hear it bottoming out.
You can hear the left front bottoming out and start slapping of the rubber. So definitely a tire goes down first and then straight up into the wall. The wall, heavy damage to the steering, left front already flat. So I don't know if he ran something over or what the cause was, but the left front goes down and into the.
I mean, that thing went flat quickly. Anytime you take a right turn and go straight to the wall, you have no control on that left side, especially in the front going into a turn. Not an ideal situation, right? He's obviously okay from that wreck. Very disappointed after the race, and it's hurting him in playoff points as well. So you have absolute disaster. Chase Elliott was self-inflicted with the loose tire, uncontrolled tire. William Byron, just a mistake happened out there in terms of not knowing the driver in front of him was pitting. Ran right into the back of him pretty much at full speed. And then Ryan Blaney, what do you do when a tire cuts down? Just bad luck there for all of them there. So with the playoff drivers and where they stood, Well, let's get into the playoff points here as well. If we throw those up here for us. And a bunch of notes here from that side, right? Denny Hamlin obviously winning and advances to the championship 4. Kyle Larson keeps that second spot there, plus 35 with his runner-up finish as well. So now Kyle Larson's not safe. Talladega and Martinsville, you not get knocked out of these races here in top, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 laps, right? Your day's end and you flip quickly. Christopher Bell with his third place finish, plus 20 on the positive side here for Christopher Bell. Then Chase Briscoe, right? You saw him battling with his fourth place finish with his teammate Denny Hamlin. Ends up 15 points above the cutoff line here. Kyle Larson, I do believe, will advance. Again, barring 2 other winners and he gets pushed out in points. I do believe he'll advance, barring, disaster striking on Kyle Larson. Christopher Bell, I do believe, I told you that. I do believe he advances out of this round, but he's still dicey with just 20 points. That can go away quickly if you have something break here at Talladega or Martinsville. Chase Briscoe is the guy that's on that cut line. I'll tell you this right off the bat. With the racetracks that Talladega is, the racetrack that Martinsville are teammates Joey Logano and Ryan Blaney. I am not going to put anybody else. I'm putting the nail in the coffin for them moving with these 2 races up. Guess who runs well at Talladega and who will run well at Martinsville? Team Penske, and that's Joey Logano and Ryan Blaney. They are not out of this now. Do they have to win? Possibly. Can they make it up, right? You make up 15, 16 points. Joey Logano finished well in this race, got 34 playoff points. He's still 24 points below the cut line. They're probably going to need a win. Do not sleep on Joey Logano and Ryan Blaney getting a win with these 2 racetracks coming up here for them. Kyle Larson doesn't run as well at Talladega and Martinsville, right? Christopher Bell will run fine. I'm not worried about him. Denny Hamlin wouldn't either, but he's got his win and he's moving on. Chase Briscoe, don't think he's going to run well at these 2 racetracks. Let me rephrase that. They can run well. It's just they're not the mile-and-a-half tracks where they can put some speed together and move on from that side. William Byron, though, and Chase Elliott, unfortunately, I think they're going to be underneath the cut line here coming up for those 2. We might see our final 4. I don't think so. I think Joey Logano or Ryan Blaney or both of them might be able to switch here on that positive side. I just don't see Christopher Bell losing out here. So I think it's going to come down to Joey Logano or Ryan Blaney being the guy that gets up there and push it through as well. So from that perspective, yeah, it is just William Byron down to 5th in the standings there, 15 points below as you saw. Elliott, well, 6th place is what he finished or what he's in the playoff points behind the cutoff line, and he just doesn't run well at Talladega. Martinsville, I'm not as 100% sure on as well, but it is amazing how it changed with one bad day. Now, it's race 1 of 3. The problem was, I think, William Byron and Chase Elliott, their strength race to have good races and stay on that positive side was Las Vegas is kind of what we're looking at from there. So good news for Team Penske with Ryan Blaney and Joey Logano. You got 2 races coming up where they will race strong. They just have to stay in the race. They have to get points and sneak out a win to move on as well. So this could get interesting if you get 2 new winners coming up here that are underneath the cut line for that final points line. So Kyle Larson isn't guaranteed to move on, being that 35 points up. I think he does eventually is where he will move up to on that side. So it's getting interesting here with the tracks that NASCAR has picked here in the final 2 races of this round as well. So next up for the Cup guys, Talladega. This Sunday coming up, October 19th. We'll talk about all of that, right? Truck Series, Xfinity Series, and the Cup Series are getting underway at Talladega. We'll have our look-ahead show coming your way on Thursday. So however you're watching us, free podcast system, follow us at the Pit Stop Talk on X as well. Whether I'm watching the races, I put my thoughts out there. We can have discussions there as well. You can always text us at the line here, our text line for my shows, 623-252-6670. Anytime you're watching this program, whether it be on demand at Robat TV, on demand on free YouTube for you out there, of course, the free podcast system. Folks, have a great week. Our Look Back show, what fun racing at Las Vegas. hopefully Talladega is bringing us some fun racing with the 3 Series coming up. We'll talk about that on Thursday, folks. Have a great afternoon. We'll see you next time.